Let's move on to the females, where I would say most of your success has been this year. WTA Kremlin Cup in Russia. We're going to start off with a girl who jumped out at me as well. Don't think that I'm agreeing with you because I have any sort of knowledge. I just thought that Belinda Bencic to win outright at 9 was great value.
Yeah, so we move on to Russia now, and I'm just, by the way, so happy to be back in Europe. This Asian swing has been brutal on me, just sleep-wise. Anyway, so we're in Russia now, Kremlin. It's a pretty old tournament, and they've actually moved venues. Usually one of the very slowest indoor tournaments on the entire tour, where the bounce is also pretty high, so clay court players tend to do well here. They've moved from the classic Olympia Stadium, which is now undergoing renovations, and they've moved to, let me see if I can get this pronunciation down.
Don't worry about pronunciation. You've been listening to me for 3 months.
Ice Palace, where they usually do figure skating to play. And from what I've seen, it does still look pretty slow, albeit a bit faster. And it's a premier event. And yeah, a lot at stake right now. The WTA race to Shenzhen to play in the prestigious year-ending championship is at its apex right now. And we have 2 players that are locked into a crazy race here. And one of them is Belinda Bencic. Svitolina just secured her berth, and the last spot is up for grabs as Serena Williams, who's currently in 8th. She won't play. Bencic goes off against Kiki Bertens. They're both drawn in the same half. And the Dutch woman holds a 165-point lead on Bencic. This means that she has to make the final to pass Bertens there. And looking at the draw here, she's been drawn in the bottom half, and apart from the aforementioned Kiki Bertens, the big seeds are Anastasia Sevastova, who has had her fair share of injury troubles over the last few months here. Diana Yastremska, the young Ukrainian dangerous power hitter. But Bencic has been one of the most consistent players on tour this year. She's world number 10 for a reason. She's known as a giant killer. She's taken down numerous really, really big players en route to the Dubai title. I think she took down 3 top 10 players in a row there. And generally, a counterpuncher who should be doing well in these conditions. She has notably made a couple of deep runs this season as only the Mississaugan Mammoth, which is Bianca Andreescu, by the way, was able to stop her from reaching a US Open final. And looking at the other seeds, I think that last week she lost in Linz in the first round. She was caught cold. She didn't look motivated. I think right now she's been hammered into the situation she's in. She has to go to the final to be able to qualify for the year-ending championship. And I think she'll be coming in fully locked in, fully focused. And I just simply think she's the best player out of those in the bottom half. And in the tournament as a whole, Aselina Svitolina has already qualified. And thus has no real incentive to waste her energy here. So Bencic at 9 is a very good price, and I think she can win this tournament.
Okay, so what was your thinking around Karolina Muchova to win outright at 15 then?
Yeah, so Muchova has been drawn in the other half, and as I talked a little bit about with Svitolina, she has indeed already qualified for the year-ending championships in Shenzhen. So right now she has a bye into the second round. She doesn't actually need to play even. I mean, she needs the points for the second round, but that's it. So she has no real incentive to play hard. But apart from that, her draw is difficult, and I think she's very opposable. Ons Jabeur, she could probably face in the second round. That's the finalist from Moscow last year. So it's a very, very tough first assignment. Then we have Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova, former winner here, big hitting Russian, playing at home. So it's an extremely difficult draw for Svitolina, which makes me want to oppose her there. So the first selection here in Muchova, she comes from the second quarter, which is loaded, by the way. We have Donna Vekic, Svetlana Kuznetsova, Anna Kalinskaya and Ekaterina Alexandrova. So a lot of dangerous Russians there in that section. But Muchova, she's been playing really well. Young Czech player, 23 years old, plays with a ton of variety. She can mix up play with different spins, different shape, different power on the ball, and she's done really well this season. She recently won her maiden title in Seoul, in Korea. And she also made a Wimbledon quarterfinal, very notably upsetting fellow Czech Karolina Pliskova, world number 2, in an epic match. I think it was 13-11 in the last set there. So she has a really, really nice, appealing play style. And in a section of the draw, which is kind of open, where Svitolina is very opposable, and with the other players, namely Vekic and Alexandrova, have lost a bit of steam as of late, I think that she can emerge there. I think to keep in mind this late in the season is the players' motivation levels and fitness, which plays a huge part. I would have gone with Alexandrova normally in this section, but she looked to be running out of fumes. She was struggling with her lower back last week in Linz, and these kind of things does play in. So I think that Muchova, she's reasonably fresh at this part of the year, and at that price, opposing Svitolina and the other big seeds in that sections definitely appeals.
Well, you mentioned Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova. She's the other one. She's at 15. Is she in the same part of the draw as Muchova?
Yes. So, as I said there, Svitolina is really the big seed we're looking to oppose here. And Pavlyuchenkova is a player that is usually well known for doing extremely well indoors. And this tournament in particular, she's won it on one occasion. She has reached the final on another occasion, and she's gone to the quarterfinals on a few more occasions. So she usually plays really well here at home, and it's a big, big danger with her big hitting in indoors conditions. I think she played pretty well last week in Linz, although she should have won against Victoria Kuzmova there. But overall played really well. So I was impressed with that. And again, looking at the first draw here, she's going to be facing Maria Sakkari. She's coming back from a wrist injury. So she, even though she's a big seed, she has almost no experience indoors. She's actually, I think, 0-5 indoors on May level. So very, very opposable there. Ayla Tolmjanovic is an inconsistent power hitter, so who I think she can beat. And then there would be Svitolina if she isn't already upset. So the goal here is really, I think, that either Muchova or Pavlyuchenkova will get to the final. I think these two will be the semi-final matchups, and I think they will contest the final, hopefully with Bencic. So that's thinking behind those.
Okay, and your one individual bet was Kristina Mladenovic at 1.98.
Yeah, so Kristina Mladenovic has actually won her fair share of titles in her career. Actually, no less than 3 slam titles, 2 from Roland Garros and 1 from Australian Open. The caveat, though, is that these have come on the doubles court. She's currently the world number 1 in doubles tennis, and with her partner Timea Babos, she has won illustrious titles there. She hasn't been as successful at singles tennis, though, the 26-year-old French woman, but she's hired Naomi Osaka's former coach, Sasa Bajian, and that's a brilliant move for developing her singles tennis capabilities. She looked in decent touch as of late. She's reached semifinal in Zhengzhou, and she played really, really well to take down Donna Vekic en route to a quarterfinal indoors in Linz last week. And Yulia Putintseva, her opponent, is an exceptionally tricky opponent to play. She played loopy balls, devious slices, drop shots, and loves disrupting rhythm. She's been a bit of a giant killer. The best players usually struggles against her unique type style of play. And she's also won a title this year in Nürnberg. But I wasn't impressed with her. She's played Tianjin in China. She spent the last few weeks in China. Obviously, that's a tough transition. She has to travel here on short rest and switch from outdoor hard courts to indoor hard courts. And I was very concerned with the level of play she showed. She was really, really poor against both Astor Sharma, almost losing, having to save match point, and Ons Jabeur, who she let run away to a 4-1 lead in the first set and then squandered a 4-0 second set lead as well to lose in straight sets there. And this pair, they've faced 5 times, and it's Mladenovic who leads the way 3-2. And Putintseva does have the tenacity and the ability to force errors out of the more powerful Mladenovic. She can just as easily be outpowered if she's not at her best, kind of like she was in Tianjin. They've played 2 times indoors, and it's Mladenovic who have won both of those. She's a much better indoors player than Putintseva is, and she'll also be accustomed to the conditions here after playing indoors in Linz last week. So I saw her as an underdog, and I think that she's just been playing a little bit better than Putintseva, and add surface advantage and the customization advantage in Mladenovic's favor playing indoors. And I think that at an underdog price we have to buy it here.
Okay, let's hope you get off to a great start. So Bencic for me, but be careful, be aware of Pavlyuchenkova, because at 15 she looks like she obviously home turf, or not even turf, but obviously on home court, that she looks like she could be a main danger. Snize, top man, keep up the good work, enjoy your walk, don't forget your camera, and I'll look forward to seeing you soon, mate.